Thank you so much for this opportunity and to talk about a wonderful asset in this community, and that is the Alice Report. And thank you to Metro United Way for your contribution and to make this available to this community. I want to outline very briefly a few steps in looking at the Alice Report. First of all, I would look at what are the real issues in the report. What is the magnitude of the problem? And if we look at the magnitude of the problem, we see that there are a very high percentage, 42% of households that are really in distress. And in actual numbers, that is 100,000 just in Hillsborough County alone. Secondly, if we look at the other data, and if I can take Hillsborough County just an example for my stepwise process, we see that in terms of the survival budget, that 21% of the budget is spent on affordable housing, 22% on childcare, and then the other two high priority areas are accessible and affordable healthcare and public transportation, each with 14%. So immediately when I looked at that report, I see this very high percentage of spend on household necessities that every person, every household must attend to. And if I then want to go one step further in my third step, I would say let's focus on one of these high priority areas. And let's take housing as an example. My fourth step would be to ask, is there a comprehensive needs assessment and strategic plan related to housing in Hillsborough County? I think that is really important to ask, both as a researcher and a practitioner. What is available out there and how can I access that? If I ask that question, fortunately there's a positive response, and that is that we have a brand new August 2017 report by the City of Tampa called the Consolidated Plan and Action Plan for the next 5 years. If we look at that plan, we see that there's a strategic approach to housing activities and community development over the next 5 years. That this report is based on data, some of that data very similar to the Alice reports. Other data is all even more in depth and related to this particular county and census tracts. We see that the report includes high priority strategic objectives. And the first one of these is affordable housing. So that makes sense to look at the Alice report and to see that this is reflected also in the strategic plan of the city. And then I will evaluate this report, and I first of all see that it's a balanced report in terms of the goals and objectives between housing and community development. I will see that there was citizen participation, 225 surveys completed, 2 public meetings, and a list of agencies who responded and participated. We also see that there was comprehensive needs assessments with the data attached and housing market analysis. So that is good news for our community, for Tampa. We can act. We now need to ask who is responsible for action. And we all are. And we are fortunate that there are some leaders who are taking initiative. We have the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee with Maria Barker as the advocacy representative and Tina Swain, the non-profit provider representative. So it seems as if we can connect with them we can contact them and see if we can contribute from our own perspective, both as researchers and also as practitioners. We may then ask, what are the areas that we want to get involved in, and what does the evidence tell us? We are very fortunate because we've listened to an excellent presentation with evidence to understand the broader picture, and without that evidence and understanding, it is very difficult to move forward. So thank you so much for giving this excellent presentation. I have tried to summarize in a few steps a very practical approach to data and using the Alice report to our advantage.